All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the pre-op webinar. Thank you all for being here today. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it because I do have a lot to cover. So my name is Natalie. I am the nutritionist here at MBC. So a little about me, so you know who your nutritionist is. I studied nutrition and food science at the California State University of Chico. And then I completed a didactic program in dietetics there. And then later, I earned a certificate of advanced studies at Syracuse University. So I am here to help you feel confident about what you're doing and to answer any questions you have along the way. So here is my contact information. And do not hesitate to reach out if you need guidance or support throughout this whole bariatric journey that you are now on. That being said, if you have any medical questions about medications, your incisions, surgery specifics, those are best directed to our surgeon liaison, Jen, who you can contact directly, and this is her information right here. All right, so in this presentation, I will be going over the purpose of the pre-op diet, as well as what the actual pre-op diet is, duh. And then I will also be covering a little bit about post-op vitamins as well. All right. So the purpose. So the pre-op diet has a very specific purpose. So first and foremost, it helps shrink your liver. So when we eat a lot of processed foods and carry a lot of extra weight, the liver stores fat and glycogen, which makes it larger. So a smaller liver means that your surgeon can see and move more easily during the surgery, which makes the procedure a lot safer. So the pre-op diet is also about behavioral changes. So this is your chance to start building habits that will carry you through the surgery and after, right? So things like portion control, focusing on protein, and reducing sugars and processed foods. So weight loss does happen during this phase, and that's just a bonus, right? So even a small amount of weight loss lowers your surgical risk and makes recovery a lot smoother. So it's definitely a win-win. So this is also when we start looking at your BMI because your BMI is what determines how long you'll need to be on the pre-op diet. So for patients with a lower BMI, the pre-op diet may only last about 1 week. For patients with a higher BMI, the diet may need to be 2 to 3 weeks long. And the reason is that a higher BMI usually means a larger liver, and we need that extra time for the diet to shrink the liver down to a safe size for surgery. So we recently have updated our pre-op diet guidelines to make them a little bit more simpler and concise. So the length of your pre-op diet is still based on your BMI. Just the length of the diet itself has changed and become a lot shorter and more concise. So to make things fair, if you have booked before September 25th, you'll be following the original pre-op diet length that was given to you at the time of booking. So you can always find those details in the original confirmation email that has come from me. And then if you were booked on or after September 25th, you'll be following the new BMI-based guidelines that are shown here, as well as also found in the original confirmation email sent from me. So if you have any questions, just feel free to send me an email and I can help clarify on this a little bit more. All right, so just a little recap of the purpose. So, the pre-op diet is about shrinking your liver, preparing your body for surgery, and practicing your new lifestyle habits. It's not about crash dieting, it's not punishing yourself, it's about setting yourself up for success both during and after surgery. All right, so that being said, let's get into the actual diet. So, protein will be the star of your pre-op diet. You'll be eating 2 to 3 meals each day, and each meal should include about 4 to 6 ounces of lean protein. So examples, chicken breast, lean ground beef, eggs, fish, salmon, lean steak. There's also plant-based options like edamame, tofu. So these foods are high in protein and low in fat. So this will help preserve your muscles while your calories are being reduced. So, why is protein so important? Because your body needs it for healing, maintaining muscle, and keeping your metabolism strong. So, it also helps keep you fuller for longer, which makes it easier to stay on track. All right, now vegetables. So you can have an unlimited amount of non-starchy vegetables. They give you fiber and nutrients without spiking your blood sugar, which is great. And they also add a lot of volume to your plate. So you're able to eat a lot of these vegetables, right? Unlimited. Great options, cauliflower, cucumbers, lettuce, broccoli, carrots. The list goes on and on. So, but you will need to avoid starchy vegetables. So there's five vegetables: potatoes, corn, peas, squash, and pumpkin. These act more like carbs in your body and will not help you shrink your liver. So outside of those five vegetables, you can have an unlimited amount, okay? Healthy fats. So they are allowed, but in moderation. So 1 to 2 servings a day. So examples include avocados, nuts, seeds, olive oils, nut butters, healthy salad dressing. So healthy fats are important because they keep your hormones balanced. They help you feel satisfied, and they also really help support vitamin absorption, which will be very important after surgery. But it is very easy to overeat them, so measure it out carefully and always read nutrition labels, okay? And here is everybody's favorite slide, foods to avoid. So you will need to avoid all starches, so breads, pastas, rice, tortillas, and baked goods, so essentially all grains. Limit your fruit to about half a cup of berries, half of a banana, or one small apple a day. Stay away from processed meats like bacon, sausage, salami, beef jerky. These are high in fat as well as sodium, and they will not help shrink your liver. Other things to avoid: dairy. So you need to avoid milk, cheese, yogurt, cottage cheese, all things with sugar, especially all things with added sugar. So think about the sodas, sweet teas. And this one thing is very critical. I want everyone to listen. So you will need to stop all alcohol, caffeine, vitamins, and supplements 2 weeks before surgery. Okay. So this reduces risks like bleeding as well as drug interactions during the procedure. So it is very important to discontinue all alcohol, caffeine, and vitamins and supplements 2 weeks before surgery. All right. All right. So I also want to preface that this diet is not just a checklist, right? It's the beginning of a new lifestyle on this new journey. So, one of the most important habits you'll need to practice is separating food and your fluids. So, you will stop drinking 30 minutes before eating and will not start again until 30 minutes after a meal. And this is a lifelong rule after surgery. So, here's why. So if you drink with your meal, the liquids will wash food through your pouch too quickly. So instead of staying in your stomach long enough to give you that sense of fullness, the food will move straight into your small intestines. So when food, especially undigested food, rushes into your intestines too fast, it can cause nausea, cramping, sweating, dizziness, diarrhea, and we call this dumping syndrome. So it's very uncomfortable and it's something you definitely want to avoid. So practice this rule now before surgery, and it will make it a lot easier to follow during the post-op. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick little knowledge checkpoint. So let me get a poll started. It's just 2 questions, and I'll go ahead and give everybody, 30 seconds to a minute to answer. So let me launch that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share results. So good job, everyone. So, is bacon a good source of lean protein? No. What about tuna? Yes. So good job, 100% on that. And then when should you stop caffeine, vitamins, and alcohol? Good. I'm glad everybody got 100% on this. It is 2 weeks before surgery. I'll go ahead and stop sharing that, and then we can continue on. So here are a couple of pre-op diet recipes that I like to recommend. And this is just to kind of want to reinforce the idea that eating healthy does not have to be boring. So these are two really great recipes. So feel free to take a picture, take a screenshot. You can always just reach out to me and I can send you recipes. So I have a ton. So definitely if you ever feel stuck, definitely feel free to reach out for some recipes. Okay. So, in addition to your meals, you will also use protein shakes to help keep you full throughout the day. So, you want to aim for 1 to 2 shakes a day, and each with 20 grams or more of protein and less than 5 grams of sugar. So, that's really important. So, good types of protein supplements are whey isolate, there's plant-based blends, there's egg white proteins. You can use pre-made shakes or powders that you mix with water or unsweetened almond milk or coconut milk. So when it comes to the pre-made shakes, ultra filtered protein shakes are allowed on the pre-op diet because the way the dairy is refined, it removes a part that affects the liver. So protein shakes like Fairlife, Nuri, Premier Protein, those all do have dairy in them, but like I said, they're ultra filtered, so they are allowed for the pre-op diet. And then this just shows, there is a wide variety of protein powders to choose from. So definitely read the nutrition label carefully. And the biggest thing you're gonna want to focus on is protein and the sugar. So 20 grams or more of protein and less than 5 grams of sugar. So we try to make things as simple as possible here. So for those of you who don't know, we actually do have our own vitamin company and we have quite a few products, one of the newer ones being protein powders. So this is the protein plus probiotic. So each serving gives you 20 grams of whey isolate protein and only has 0 to 2 grams of sugar depending on the flavor. Plus, it has probiotics and prebiotic fiber for gut health, which is really helpful. So it's a really good choice to use both before surgery as well as after surgery. And this product comes in berry, iced macchiato, and unflavored. So if you would like, go ahead and go on our website and check it out. And then back to the diet. So 2 days before surgery, you will switch to the clear liquid diet. So it completely empties your stomach, shrinks your stomach, and it makes surgery a lot safer. So this part of the diet is very critical. So it does not matter how long your pre-op diet is, everybody will have to do the 2 days of clear liquids before surgery. So what are considered clear liquids? Water, broth, sugar-free, Crystal Light, Powerade Zero, caffeine-free, herbal tea, sugar-free Jello, sugar-free popsicles, clear protein waters. So protein shakes are not allowed, but protein waters are, as well as Gatorade Zero. So this phase is short, but it's very important. So it's the final step to get your body ready for surgery. So definitely take it seriously. Okay, another knowledge checkpoint. So let me go ahead and launch it. All right. And like I said, I'll give you guys 30 seconds to a minute to answer. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll, share results. So, can you drink protein shakes during the clear liquid phase? No. Good job, everybody. And how many grams of sugar should the protein shakes be under? And how many grams of protein should the shakes contain? So, it is at least 20 grams of protein and less than 5 grams of sugar. So, good job, everybody. I'll go ahead and stop sharing that. All right, and just some last minute stuff about vitamins. So, Um, you'll stop vitamins, of course, I said 2 weeks before surgery. Then after surgery, you will restart bariatric specific vitamins about 14 days post-op. So these are critical in preventing deficiencies and also supporting your recovery. So generic vitamins or vitamins that you can just buy in the grocery store, those are not enough. You will need bariatric specific ones. So, why does that matter? Why do I need to take vitamins? So, vitamins and minerals are essential for nearly every function of the body. Energy production, immune function, brain health, bone strength, that is just to name a few. But after bariatric surgery, your body's ability to absorb certain nutrients is reduced. And to make up for this, you will need to take vitamins specifically formulated for bariatric needs. So, what are those, you ask? Right here. So, our guidelines come from the ASMBS, which is the American Society for Metabolic and Bariatric Surgeries. So, they're the ones who set recommendations for what vitamins bariatric patients need based on years and years and years of research. So, it is very common for bariatric specific multivitamins with iron to include everything you need, with one exception, which is calcium citrate. So you will almost never see calcium and iron combined in the same multivitamin because they compete for absorption and essentially cancel each other out when taken together. So that's why in most cases, all you need is a bariatric multivitamin with iron plus a separate calcium citrate supplement to help fully meet your needs. So, I say we always like to make things easier. So, I recommend the Emerge Vitamin Bundle. This one's called the Ultimate Bundle. So, it's, of course, our own bariatric specific line designed to meet all of your needs. So, they're formulated for better absorption because they're chewable and they provide the exact dosage recommended by the ASMBS. And you can find them at emergebariatrics.com. So, like I said, this is the ultimate bundle that you're seeing right now. Which I do send that link out to everybody after surgery. And of course, it's not required to buy our vitamins, but we definitely make it as easy as possible for our patients to meet their needs. So definitely check it out if you want to. Um, and then just some last minute things. So we have a podcast. So for more support, check out the podcast is called Can You Stomach This? It's hosted by past patients who share their real life stories about pre-op, post-op, exercise, stalls, navigating the holidays, really a lot of topics. So it's just a great way to hear from people who have been in your shoes. So go ahead and check that out. And then also we have blogs that do have a lot of recipes. I think was it last week? Sometime not too long ago, a blog post came out about, I think, breakfast, pre-op breakfast recipes. So check that out. We have other social media resources like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, our website, you name it. So these are fantastic tools to stay inspired, get meal ideas, and connect with others who are going through the same journey as you, right? You don't have to do it alone. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and open it up to you guys. So go ahead and put whatever questions you have in the chat and I'll take a look and answer them. All right, let me start from the top. So if we haven't received an email from you yet, will it be coming? Definitely. So everybody gets sent an email about 1 week before they start their pre-op diet. So you definitely will be hearing from me. You also get a text message from me. So you have my phone number as well as my email. So everybody does hear from me. Okay, is the amount of sodium a concern with Gatorade drinks on the clear liquid diet days? No, so sodium is not really a concern, or there really isn't specific parameters around sodium. So we always just recommend following the RDA or the recommended daily allowance of adults for sodium, which is 2,300 milligrams. So as long as you're staying under that, you are good to go for the clear liquid diet. Is bone broth okay for clear liquids? Yes, it is. And there is a brand, it's called, I think, Bare Bones. And it is a bone broth brand that comes in single serving packets, which I really recommend for travel days. So, yes, bone broth is approved. Is sugar-free gum okay during pre-op? So, yes, technically yes, but I really want to re-emphasize that the pre-op is, not just about the diet, but also setting up behavioral changes as well. So chewing gum is one of those things. If you discontinue that during the pre-op, it will make it a lot easier and you won't have that urge to chew gum during the post-op because it is really important to not chew gum after bariatric surgery. So yes, you can technically, but I advised against it. Shamrock Farms protein shakes. They are dairy, so not sure. If you would like, you can always, and this is for everybody, you can always text me a picture of a nutrition label if you're unsure if the product falls within the diet or not. So you're more than welcome to send me the Shamrock Farms protein shake nutrition label, and I can take a look and see if it is approved for the pre-op diet. Do you ship to Alaska if we order vitamins and other products? That is a good question that I don't think I'll be able to answer right now. I don't want to say yes or no, definitely. So, what I'm going to do is after this, I'm going to check with a couple of people and then I'll get back to you on that. Are the Emerge products available at the hospital? I tried ordering them, but they wouldn't ship to Canada. So the Emerge products are not currently available for purchase at the hospital. We are currently working on that. But there will be some sort of like leaflet or pamphlet at the hospital where you can scan a QR code and get them shipped, but they don't ship to Canada. So I do have other vitamin brand recommendations that I can send to you that you can purchase within Canada. Are you recording this webinar and emailing out afterwards? Yes, I am. It'll probably be posted on Facebook too. And can we reach out to you before surgery? Okay, good. I'm glad you asked that. Yes. So I do all of the post-op nutrition as well. So everybody definitely hears from me after surgery. But I do always like to kind of reinforce that everybody does have access to me throughout this whole journey, right? So, you have my email, you have my phone number. Always feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, not just during the pre-op, not just during the initial post-op. I have people who reach out that have been through MBC, 3 years ago, who I'm still in contact with. So definitely you can you can reach out to me after surgery. Why can't you chew gum post-op? Okay, so when it comes to gum, uh, gum and straws. I will mention that too. So gum and straws, it's one of those things, you don't really realize that you're doing it, but when you're chewing gum, you are swallowing air. And so with that air, especially the excess air going into your stomach, it can cause a lot of discomfort, bloating, and over a prolonged amount of time, it can actually lead to your stomach stretching. So it's just one of those things we really recommend just not doing it indefinitely after surgery. How many ounces of banana can we have? Not a stupid question, no stupid questions, but they're all different sizes. Half of a banana, I would say, I'm not really sure how many ounces that would be. I would say probably 4 ounces would be my guess, just because we say a half a cup of berries and half of a banana. So a half a cup is 4 ounces. So that's where I'm getting it from. So I would say 4 ounces for bananas. Okay. And for those of you, I see a couple questions about the vitamins for Canada. If you would like, just send me a text or send me an email, and then I can respond to that and send you, because I have multiple links for everything. So let me just give one look over and see if I missed any questions. Send in any last minute questions you have. Okay, I think that was all the questions. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. So thank you everybody for joining me. I really appreciate you all coming. I hope everybody learned at least one thing about the pre-op diet. So I will just make an announcement. I am hosting a post-op diet webinar at this time next week. So Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So I'm pretty sure the link is already on Facebook, and the Zoom link will be sent out sometime next week. So if you would like to join, you are more than welcome to. But again, thank you all for coming, and I hope everybody has a good rest of your night. Bye, everyone.